Hello, my name is Tyler Leet, and I work for CSI here in Paducah, Kentucky. CSI is a fintech provider, but more specifically for me, I started at CSI almost 20 years ago now as an information security consultant, doing information security reviews, moved on to penetration testing. We do social engineering assessments, vulnerability assessments, whole gamut of things. Now I'm the director of the consulting team that provides those services. I'm not as hands-on much anymore, but I still am a tech geek at heart. I love cybersecurity, and I oversee the teams that provide those services for our clients. Well, one of the biggest reasons I think is that tech geek at heart. I've always loved to tinker. I think I first got interested in IT. I don't know how old I was at the time. My grandfather had a Windows 3.x, I don't remember what it was, machine. And I remember finding the game Bananas on it and then QBasic. And then I'd go in and start tinkering with it and doing other stuff. And it started going from there. And so that's that natural hacker style thinking where you just like to tinker, break, see what you can do, and then you have to fix it if you do break it. So that kind of started me down the path of liking IT. And then the security component came in. Of course, at the time, of course, at least for me, it was that sexy avenue of IT, especially the penetration testing and that kind of thing. But I kind of like the puzzle of them versus you. It's almost like a game, a real life with consequences game, but very much so. That's probably the biggest draw that I had. For me, of course, I went to Murray State with the TSM program, but aside from that, most of your, even with an education, and as me as a hiring director now, someone doesn't necessarily have to have an education. You have to have good understanding and experience, and that can come through education and hands-on use. It's a lot of this is tinkering. You don't learn how to be a penetration tester. You figure the stuff out for the most part. You can have a mentor and people that guide you the right direction. But it's about just getting your hands in the technology and messing with it and playing with it, seeing how it works, what doesn't work. So that natural just tinkering mentality and going in and wanting to see what you can do and learn is one of the biggest things. One thing I will say with security, this is probably with any industry, but with IT and security especially, I always felt like, especially when I was penetration testing, every time I felt like I was growing and learning, because I'm competitive. I like to make progress and achieve things. Every time I would open a door, I would think I was making good progress. And you walk in this virtual room, and there's like 7 more doors that you've got to learn and different things and avenue, and they're all different perspectives of IT. So it's just kind of a never-ending sprawl of things, and you can choose. I mean, you're not going to be a jack of all trades, but yeah, that's the thing that really drives me is there's always something to learn. Love to tinker. I mean, that's just a natural thing. It's a personality thing, but if you don't have that natural drive, you'll want to learn that to get into cybersecurity, at least if you want to get into the offensive security, the penetration testing, ethical hacking side. That's especially important. Languages, coding, you don't have to be a coding expert, but if you want to be a good, whether it's a network admin or you want to get into penetration testing, being able to script or code, work with Python and these other languages is very, very, very valuable. So I would recommend at least having a fundamental understanding of coding, and then you can kind of work your way through doing something. You might have to do a lot of referencing and Googling to find out how it works, but you're not just sitting there staring at a bunch of jumblish code on the screen, completely lost. And I would say third is never stop learning. I mean, you've got to have a thirst for learning, and that's kind of a life lesson anyway. But in security, the moment you sit still and you're complacent and you don't want to learn or improve or get better, you're going to get either hacked, bypassed by a competitor, whatever it is, based off your field. Complacency is a bad combination in IT and cyber because it's essentially an exponential curve as far as the technology growth and what we've hit at this point in time. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of debate in security on white hat, black hat, gray hat. What's appropriate, what's not? Do you go out and actively try to find exploits and then tell vendors about them, trying to be a good guy? So there's a lot of ethical debate in how to approach security, but ethics are extremely important, especially in a business environment or where you can work with clients, because you have to have a level of trust. They have to trust the work that you're doing, and at the same time, you still have to be giving valid results. So the biggest thing is setting the parameters, who you're working with within your organization, what is allowed. So what do they say you can do that's not going to cross that boundary of some organizations with the red team, blue team, purple team might let you do a large breadth of things internally. There are others that have a much smaller risk appetite. And so you need to know what are those ground rules that you can play within and stay with that. Now, when it comes to your own personal lives, I mentioned the tinkering thing. You tinker on your own systems. You set up test systems. You do things internally. You don't go out to the web and mess with other people's systems without permission. There are sites that you can get on, and they're for trying to hack the box and those other sites like that. But that's okay, but not someone's actual live systems that you do not have permission to touch. IT in general, but cybersecurity, especially in today's age and technology growth, the business environment that we're in, the world environment, and the information is currency anymore. I mean, that's how Google gets paid, by giving your information, gathering your information and monetizing it. Same thing for Facebook. It's a great career path to pursue. It is, to be good at it, it is hard work. You have to stay up to date on the trends. You have to do research. You have to learn. Yes, there are some that are naturally talented that can just look at a screen and code and make some phenomenal exploit or application or whatever. Very few of us are like that. That's like the NBA star of people that want to play basketball. That's like our equivalent in the hacking world. But security is a great field. If you put time into it, you can make good in the world. You can make a difference. The things that you're doing count, and you can make a good career out of it. So it's something that I suggest to pretty much anybody that has an interest.